Ho, ho, ho! Merry Rigmas!
Okay, so I've laid out the components here for you just to make it a very simple for you and easy to follow. So, as you know, this is a Dover sole rig that we're going to do today. It's caught me lots of Dover sole this year, and I'm just going to run through the rigs and what you're going to need. So, the first thing you're going to need is a locked-in lead, just like so. Now that will slide up and down, and what you need to do is you actually need to lock that in place on a little separate rig. So just have a bit of mono or a bit of fluorocarbon, whatever. Put the running lead on, and then tie up a clip one end which goes on to your rig, and on the other end just tie up a swivel. Now Dover sole will feed hard on the bottom, so all your bait, your lugworm baits, need to be very hard, flat on the bottom. Now by having this running ledger, it's ensuring that your whole rig is on the bottom. So as you can see, that there is my braid from my rod, so that connects onto your rod and main line. That goes on, and then you just clip your actual rig with all your hooks and your elements onto there, and then that isn't the main weight. The main weight is at the bottom of your rig, but that just sits at the top to pin everything down nicely. Let's get on with making the rig. So the components you're going to need is a small hook. I've chosen a size 1. I don't recommend going any larger. You can actually go down to a size 4. It's a smaller than size 1 is actually better, but I just find that the problem is when you're catching a lot of flatfish, if you're sole fishing, you will also catch plaice, you'll catch whiting, you catch lots of things like that, and getting a size 4 out of their mouths can be a bit tricky. So a size 1 I find is quite a good compromise, but a size 4 is also a fantastic hook for Dover sole. So pick your chosen hook. You're going to need some crimps. You're going to need a main rig body material. That's £80, nice tough stuff. You're going to need your Snood line. So what that's going to attach to your hook, I've just got £30 mono there, nice and simple. You're going to need a breakaway lead. That ensures that the rig is digged in deep. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not flowing. It's staying still. That's what the sole like. Your crimping tool. Your scissors. You're going to need 4 beads, which as you can see 4 there. And you've got little Snood swivels. You're going to need 2 of those. You're going to need some sort of lead link clip. And then you're just going to need a swivel. So get all those components and I'll show you how to tie it. Right, first thing is first, grab your rig material and pull off around about 4 foot. You probably get away with about 3 foot, but we're going to use about 3 foot, 4 foot here. So I've got myself, hang on, there you go. I've got myself about 3.5 foot there. Put that to one side. Now the reason why I like to lay all my components out is it's easy to follow. So the first thing we're going to go and tie on is the swivel, which is going to connect to your inline lead setup. So we're going to tie that on with a grinner knot. So I've tied my grinner knot onto that swivel, and now I'm just going to chop off the tag end. As you know, I always like to leave about 1 centimetre just to allow for a bit of slip. And then I'm going to thread on all of my components, which I've laid out neatly. So we're going to grab the first crimp. That's going to go on. Now, if you've not cut the main the trace material perfectly, it's not going to go through, so I'm just going to have to snip off a little bit more there. There you go. That should go through perfectly now. Yeah, there we go. So 1 crimp, 1 bead, one bead, 1 Snood swivel, 1 bead, another crimp, Then I'm going to put on another crimp. Oh, missed that one. Another crimp, another bead. Finding the hole, there it is. Slide that on. Snood swivel. Bead. Crimp. Then I'm going to tie on my lead link clip with a grinner knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, semi-tight, moisten. Pull that down, pull it tight. There we go. Snip off the tag end. Alright. So now you're gonna that is all your rig body dealt with. You've got all your bits that you're gonna need to crimp down. Obviously you're not gonna have them that close together. You'll end up pulling them apart and say crimping one there and then crimping one towards the top. But set that aside for now. Now to do your traces, grab your line which you're going to use for your snood. Grab your choice of hook. We're just going to need, so we're going to do 2 snoods. 1, 2. Now this year I've found out that having shorter snoods is better for Dover sole because it's pinned to the bottom more. If you've got long flowing traces, they have a tendency to start lifting up with the tide, and that's not really what you want. Alright, so you want nice short traces, about 4 inches. This is just what I've found works. So grab your hook. Tie your hook on. One, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. You'll be an expert in grinner tying now by the end of the week. Cut off that. And then you want to cut off a little bit more than you need. So here I've probably got about 10 inches. I'm going to cut that off because the longer it is, it's going to make it easier for me to attach it to my my main rig body. So I'll do the grinner knot about down there and have all that to play with, so it just makes it easy. So you're going to do 2 of those, so do that again. And then you're going to bring back your main rig body, which is not crimped up yet. And all you're going to do is to those little snood swivels, which is there, just going to tie your hook snood onto. So do that for that one and your other one. You're obviously using grinner knots, and once you've done that, I'll show you the rest. Right, so now you should have your hooks tied on to your snoods, like so, and then now all it is a matter of crimping them. So grab your crimping tool and making sure they're not too close to anything. I like to do one just short of the weight. So on that I'm going to crimp it about there. Don't need to go mental on the crimps. You're not being the world's strongest man. You just need to crimp them down just enough to stop it from going sliding down. So I just find 2 little crimps, 2 little pushes in place. I actually find at this point easier to attach the weight. It just means the rig stops bouncing around everywhere, and it gives you a little bit of better. So I'll pop the weight over there, and it just keeps everything kicked away from you, as you can see. So I'm just going to do that one as well. 1, 2. Now you might think, why I'm not adding beads to the trace. With Dover sole, just doesn't make a difference, to be honest with you. You just don't need them. Dover sole, not interested in bling. They want stinky, stinky lugworm, the worst you can get. Rotted lugworm, basically, they love it. Or even ragworm. And there you have it. There's your rig done. So basically, if you get your inline set up, connect that to your top swivel, like so. And then that is your rig, and obviously that goes onto your main line, and that's your rig. You've got 2 hooks, which are really short snoods, a breakaway lead, and then at the top end you've got your inline lead, and then that just goes onto your main rod. So it all goes, cast it out, sits on the bottom, all nice and smooth. You can see those hooks dangling there. No way of them getting tangled up. You can add a little bait bead stop if you want on the snoods, just to help you keep the bait on. But I find that's absolutely fine. That will cast absolutely fine as well. So yeah, that's a Dover sole rig. Go and try it out. They taste lovely, and they're just quite a quirky fish to catch. But that is the best way to catch Dover sole. It keeps it nice and pinned on the bottom with your inline weight. And so just use real stinky lugworm, a bit of ragworm, something like that. And yeah, a couple of little hooks. Small size 4s are quite good. Can't really go wrong. Breakaway lead. Happy days.